Hey, welcome back, my fellow investors. It's me, E.T., and remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a self-taught investor who likes to talk about ways to increase one's net worth. Now, today's video, we're going to talk about financial priorities. Trust me, if you're not happy with your current financial situation, regardless of why, I guarantee you if you change your financial priorities, things will get better. So, let's dive into this video. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, worried about money, and deeply in debt, chances are your financial priorities are wrong. Chances are it's a spend first priority. Give you a quick test. This is how you can know whether or not you're in that spend first priority. Last time you got paid, how much of your paycheck went into savings? How much did you invest? Did you buy any assets? Or did you buy liabilities? Now, if you're in that situation, if you didn't buy any assets, you didn't put anything in savings, and chances are your priorities are wrong. But we can fix that. All we have to do is just change up our priorities. Priorities should be save, invest, then spend. Let's just talk about that. All right. When we start talking about saving, just like everyone tells you, you will need an E-fund. What is an E-fund? We all know it's an emergency fund. That emergency fund should be anywhere from 6 to 12 months of living expenses. Calculate and figure out how much do you need to live off of per month, and you need at least 6 to 12 months of that. No less than 6, no more than 12. Anything more than 12, you're wasting your money. All right. So how do you start that? First thing you got to do is you got to get in the habit of paying yourself first. This here is a habit. This is a savings habit you got to get into. Every time you get paid, every time you get any money, stimulus checks, tax refund, who knows what, regardless of where you get the money, bottom line, you got to pay yourself first. At a bare minimum, 10% of that money. 10% should be paid to yourself first, helping you build up that emergency fund. And another thing that you need to do is make sure that your emergency fund is in a separate account. An account that's not associated with any type of debit card, checking account, or anything else like that. It is a standalone account. This is your purpose here when it comes to saving. You need to have 6 to 12 months. In order to do that, pay yourself at least 10% of all the money that comes in. And make sure that it's in a separate account. Now, once you have that 6 to 12 months, and you have to decide which one it's going to be, but it has to be between that 6 and 12. Once you have your emergency fund, at that point, your priorities now should be on investing. First thing you want to take a look at and see what type of employee program does your employer offer you. Most of it is going to be like a 401k. That's the case, that's good. The reason why you want to look into that is you want to find out whether or not, regardless of the program, 401k, 403, 402, regardless of the program, is there an employee match? If it's a match, you definitely want to take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. If they're saying that, hey, we're going to match you anywhere from 50 to 100% of what you put in up to a maximum of 3 to 5% of your income, you want to do that. And the reason why, that's free money. Do not turn your back on an employee match. Once you have this, or let's just say that your employer does not offer a matching program. They have a 401k or some type of individual retirement program, but it's not matching. Then that's the case. Then what you might want to do is you might want to focus on maxing out a Roth IRA account. The max you can put in that per year is $6,000. And trust me, if this is not available to you, max this out, then you can go back and take advantage of a non-matching 401k or whatever type of program that they have. But you definitely want to do a Roth IRA if you're qualified for it. The advantages to a Roth IRA, it's to a certain degree, it will actually supplement and work like an emergency fund, because that money that you put in that Roth IRA, let's say for that first year, you max it out at $6,000. If you're over 50, the max now is $7,000, or 50 or older. But you're at $6,000. You maxed it out. What happens with that $6,000 is this here. You can take that money out anytime you want, because that money's, you've already paid taxes on that money. Now, if that $6,000 earn you, let's say $600, and your balance now is $6,600, you can take out the $6,000 anytime that you want. But you can't touch that $600 until you turn 59 and a half, right? If you take it out before then, if you take out any earnings in a Roth IRA account before you're 59 and a half, you're going to pay taxes on it, and also you're going to pay a 10% penalty. All right, so you're going to pay that there. So don't do that. All right, take out the contributions anytime you want. Keep that in mind. All right, in addition to this, you also want to get into the real estate game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Real estate's not going anywhere. This here will always be a pillar of anyone's investment. You need to have that part of your portfolio. Now, some of you are probably saying, you know what, I don't have the capital to get started in real estate. And some of you may also say, I don't want to be bothered with it. I don't want to be bothered with looking at properties, going through all the negotiations. I don't want to be bothered with tenants. That's okay. There's another way that you can participate in the real estate game. And that is through real estate investment trust. What that is, it works like a stock, but you're in the real estate game. You can work with residential property, you can work with commercial property, you can work with mortgage-backed securities, a lot of different ways. Very inexpensive to get involved with that as well. All right, so consider that. If you really want to know more about REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust, I made a video on it, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. All right, so now we're over here to spend. Spend should be the third priority. First thing that you need to do when it comes to spending is stop buying liabilities. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, costs you money. All right, stop buying liabilities. The next thing that you want to focus on when it comes to spending, all right, is there's a 5-to-1 rule. What is the 5-to-1 rule? I learned about this rule by watching Jaspreet Singh. He's with the Minority Mindset. And he has this 5-to-1 rule, which I really like, and it makes sense. He's saying that if you can't buy it 5 times, you can't afford to buy it 1 time. That rule works. Bottom line is this here, it's a lot of it's going to depend on where do you have the funds. Do you have it in your Roth IRA account? You don't want to even consider the emergency fund. So if you don't have it to buy 5 times, you can't afford to buy it 1 time. That's a great rule of thumb to live by. And the next thing that you need to do when it comes to spending is you need to make sure that you're paying off your high interest pay off your high interest debt. Now, when you get to this point, if you start paying off your high interest debt, there's really two methods that people use out there that's very, very effective. One is called the snowball effect, and the other one is called the avalanche effect. Snowball effect works this way. What you do is all of your debt that has an interest rate, what you want to do is you want to list your interest rate, your debt with the interest rate the lowest to the highest. And then what you want to do is you want to pay the minimum on everything else but the lowest. On the lowest, you want to really focus on paying a lot more than just the minimum payment every month. You want to pay that off as quickly as you possibly can. As soon as you pay off that lowest interest rate, once that's done, now you take all of that money from there and you now focus it on the next one. And you just keep going down, building up like a snowball. The other way is just the opposite of that. You list all of your interest debt from the highest to the lowest. And then from the highest, you start working. Everything else, you pay the minimum amount. The highest, you want to focus on not only paying the minimum, paying as much as you can above that minimum until you get it paid off. Once that's paid off, take the money that you were using to pay for that one. Now you focus all your attention on the next one and you move all the way down. That's the avalanche effect. So you definitely want to do this when it comes to spending. Stop buying liabilities. Remember that 5-to-1 rule and pay off your high interest debt. Snowball or the avalanche. Now, let me give you a real life example. I seen a 74-inch top of the line flat screen TV that was on sale for $1,000. I decided, you know what? I might get that. But remember, my priorities are to save, invest, and then spend. So I went through this here. First of all, if I was going to get the TV, I was not going to finance it because I'm not going to go out and buy a liability. I'm not going to pay interest on anything. So if I was going to do it, I was going to make sure that I paid cash for it. But I decided, you know what? This 5-to-1 rule, does that apply to me? Yeah, I could buy it because I have at least 5 times that amount set aside in an investment that I can liquidate just like that. So the 5-to-1 rule, yes, I can buy it 5 times, so that means I can afford it 1 time. All right? Paying off high interest, I don't have to worry about that because I was going to use a credit card for it. I was going to use my American Express. But guess what? I don't pay interest on my American Express because I pay it off every month. The beauty of this, if I had decided to do that, is that I would have bought it for $1,000, put it on my American Express. I would have gotten American Express rewards points for it. I think last I looked, I was about 160,000 points. You know, I think American Express gives you at least $1 for every dollar that you spend when it comes to reward points. So I could have did that, and immediately I would have paid it off at the end of the month. But I decided I really just didn't need it. It was a nice little one, but no. Believe it or not, when you change your priorities from spend to save and invest first, you will still get that same. They say that when you spend money, if you like to spend money and go shopping and so forth, a lot of people do it because there is a chemical rush that you receive from the dopamines. I guess it's a dopamine rush. Believe it or not, when I save and invest, and I really don't save anymore because I have my emergency fund, so really all my money goes to my investment. But when I buy an investment, I still get that same rush. When I receive notification that I received a dividend, I get that same rush. When I see that my portfolio has increased in value, my net worth has went up, I get that same rush. And the reason why is because I changed my priorities. Once you start getting used to saving and investing, really spending doesn't become as important to you. All right, you'll spend every now and then. So just kind of keep that in mind. So if you really do want to change your financial life, change your priorities. Move from that spend priority number one to a save and invest priority, then followed by the spending. Trust me, if I can do it, you guys can do it. And with all of that being said, just remember, save, invest, apply what you know, because knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge that's power. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Come on now.
That's right. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe buttons, followed by that notification button. That'll help out the channel. Thanks.